Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, left my old place due to bad management. My Glassdoor review comes up a lot in their interview process. Honk at me because you want me to leave my parking spot faster. When it's occupied, it's occupied. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Left my old place due to bad management. My Glassdoor review comes up a lot in their interview process. So I had been working at a small agency for 8 years. I worked my way up from a junior to senior management very quickly. For most of the 8 years, the managers were very nice to me. But I witnessed them be shitty to other members of staff a lot. But because it never involved me or my team, I never stepped in. A few months before I left, something happened where my MD was yelling at me in front of my team. This was something completely out of my control, and in the grand scheme of things, completely fixable and a non-issue. It was just I didn't have the correct information for her there and then. I typically handed in my notice after this incident and made it clear of my distaste in the management. After I left, I put a very honest but fair review on Glassdoor. I mentioned the manager's mood swings and historic abusive behavior. It's been 4 months since I left there and I feel so much happier. I'm still in contact with a few people that work there as I was great friends with them. They've been telling me that my review has caused them to lose 3 great candidates in interviews and has caused others to start putting more information on Glassdoor about them. The MD's salary was put on there and it has been quite a stir. She earned triple of what I was making, yet all of us did triple the amount of work she did. I've heard that 4 people have handed their notice in this week alone. The place is only a 20-person company. I've heard from one of the staff members that my review, although the managers don't fully know it was my review, has caused the 2 managers to finally see the issues with each other and now they're blaming each other for it. Edit, sigh. Very typical of this subreddit to create their own narrative for your story. Please only take what is here, don't create your own fabricated hypotheticals to paint me into this shitty pathetic manager, when my department was never/rarely ever the one getting shouted at. Edit 2. Genuinely shocked by the downvotes to my comments, people really expecting to go against my colleagues' wishes and go after the manager after they shouted at them. That would just make my colleagues hate me as well for going against their wishes. Honk at me because you want me to leave my parking spot faster. Years ago I attended a large urban university that I commuted to. This university had many commuters, as opposed to people who lived near or on campus. As such, the parking situation could get really difficult. If you arrived there during the busier times, about 10 a.m. to noon, because what college student wants to start class before 10 a.m., right? Finding a parking spot close to the center of campus was really difficult. There were plenty of spaces available at lots that were located further away, but that would mean a 15 or 20-minute walk to class. My first class of the day, however, was at 8 a.m. So I could drive right into the main parking deck near the center of campus and have my pick of spots. By the time I would leave campus, the parking deck would be full of panicked students driving like maniacs through the parking deck, trying to find a parking spot in the very full deck, and hoping to get lucky that they'd see someone pulling out and be able to snag that spot. It was really chaotic. Typically, I would return to my car, get in, carefully pull out into the madness, and drive home. But one day, another driver was stalking me on my walk to my car and then watching me get in when they decided that I wasn't leaving fast enough. So they honked their horn at me and made a rude gesture. As a result of that, I suddenly realized that my window washer fluid needed topped off and I had better check my oil. I deliberately walked to the back of my car, opened the hatch, and got out my spare bottle of washer fluid and a paper towel. I then popped the hood and carefully filled the washer reservoir and checked my oil. The idiot that had honked at me drove off in a rage. The guy that was stuck behind the rage driver was laughing and gave me plenty of room to pull out of my spot, and then pulled into the now vacant parking space. Most satisfying petty revenge ever. When it's occupied, it's occupied. This happened on a popular island beach destination in an Asian country. For context, I traveled to this island for vacation with my family, including my infant child. As we needed to take an early morning flight, I drank a lot of coffee to make myself functional. The flight was at 8:30 and I was able to go to the airport toilets shortly before that. And even though I felt like I needed to go to the toilet again during the flight, I held it in because my baby fell asleep in my arms. I didn't want to give him to my husband because the baby is a light sleeper. So we land on the island at 10. We were staying at one of the nicer resort. They had their own airport shuttle service, which takes guests to a welcome area, from which a speedboat will take you to the actual resort. By the time we get to the welcome area, it's around 10:30. When we entered, I saw there was a trio of women who were already waiting for the speedboat. They were just chilling on sofas. By this time, I badly needed to pee. Thankfully the place had a toilet, so I went in. Not 30 seconds after I enter, someone knocks on the door. It's occupied, I answer. But no, the knocking doesn't stop and the doorknob is even jiggled. Now, the only thing I've had all day was a lot of coffee. I'm also the type of person who gets a lot of hyperacidity when I don't eat, so by then I was feeling quite gassy. Normally I would have exerted all my strength to not let the fumes out, but heck, trying to distract a person who is on the toilet is rude. So I let it rip. I went out and yes, the woman waiting outside the door was one of the women who were already there before we got there. She might or might not have learned a lesson, but I sure felt quite relieved after. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and we will see you in the next video.